Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle. And James Gunn has had a rough go of it the last few days. I mean, we all know the internet is quick to just throw their hands up and scream. I'm one of the people that does that. That's kind of what this channel is about sometimes. But this time it does seem like it's warranted, so I found a couple interesting articles I want to go over. The headlines tell me a lot, but we all know how false headlines and clickbait can be, so I could actually be wrong. That's why I wanted to go over them with you guys. I have not read either of them yet, but I have heard a little bit about at least one of them. But that's not the one I want to start with. The one I want to start with is actually kind of interesting considering what I said about Ray Fisher in my video yesterday. This one reads, James Gunn responds to Ray Fisher after Justice League star slammed DC head for a fake grace on Twitter. Alright. Ray Fisher, as you guys may remember, known for calling out Joss Whedon for a bunch of racism on set that was never proven. Investigations were done, but by the same token, considering all the accusations against Joss Whedon, like I mentioned yesterday, I wouldn't be surprised if it was true. So let's see what he had to say. Ray Fisher, best known for his portrayal of superhero Cyborg in Zack Snyder's Justice League, is putting new DC co-head James Gunn on blast. Fisher recalled a tweet where James Gunn was seemingly showing support for Joss Whedon after the actor accused him of creating a toxic work environment on the set of Justice League. The way James Gunn uses fake grace on Twitter is really funny, Fisher tweeted. Him going to bat for Joss Whedon, pseudo-apologizing for it, and then deleting it immediately before taking his new DC job is not. Refusing to apologize for toxic behavior seems a job requirement for WB/DC. Now, again, I don't know. Wasn't there. Can't speak to whether it was toxic or not. But considering how all their projects perform and what people have said about working on them, yeah, I guess I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if toxic is the right word. I think that word is so overused that it's kind of lost meaning. Incompetent would probably be a better word. Lackadaisical, without plan, just throwing everything against the wall to see what sticks. All those are probably accurate. I don't know about toxic, but considering, you know, I can't stand James Gunn or what he has done to the DC Universe and what he's going to do to the DC Universe, yeah, I'm pretty down for this tweet from Ray Fisher. Especially if maybe there is some truth to it. I don't know how Joss Whedon acted towards him. Don't know if the reports are true. But even if they aren't, if Ray Fisher feels that way, and then he sees the new head of DC, you know, siding with him, and then deleting the tweet when he becomes the head, like, yeah, regardless of what actually happened, it does look kind of fishy, especially through Ray Fisher's eyes. I can completely see that. So, it's just nice to see a big-name actor throwing shade at James Gunn. I know that Henry Cavill is a gallant man and put forth an emotional and supportive message about his exiting from Superman, and while I do respect him for that and think it shows a lot of class, sometimes it's nice to see someone just go off and be like, nah, this dude's a dick. Fisher's comments come as Gunn took to Twitter to address the backlash he has received from some fans over decisions he and Peter Safran are making for the DC Universe. Right, this will actually be covered in the second article that I'm going to go over, but maybe it'll do a little bit here too. In the screenshots Fisher shared, Gunn apologizes to him for liking a tweet that defended Whedon. Fisher also shares another screenshot that showed the tweet had now been deleted. The comments on Fisher's tweet have fans reminding him that Gunn has an auto-delete feature on his Twitter account where older tweets get eliminated after a certain time. Well, I mean, yeah, it's true, a lot of celebrities do that, but celebrities also pay people to clean up their tweets when they're worried about backlash and Hollywood execs maybe not giving them roles or positions because of certain things they may have said in the past. I mean, if anyone's going to do this, it is James Gunn, considering that's why he was fired from Disney for all those inappropriate jokes 10 years ago. I mean, were they inappropriate? Yeah, they were edgy, but I mean, and I guess they could be considered offensive, but the thing about offensive jokes is, if you don't like them, oh well. It's not like he was putting those sort of things in Guardians of the Galaxy, which children were watching. They were just dumb, edgy tweets. And frankly, I've lost respect for James Gunn ever since he apologized for them, kowtowing to the masses and being like, I'm sorry, I used to be a different person. I thought being edgy was funny and would get me further, and just all yada yada. So yeah, I lost respect for James Gunn then. If something was funny, it was funny. You don't see Dave Chappelle apologizing for the things he said on Killing Them Softly, because that stuff still holds up. That's neither here nor there. We'll continue. Gunn replied to Fisher, explaining the feature on Twitter, adding, all my tweets automatically delete after a few months, Ray. It has nothing to do with my tweets to you. See, but that also seems, even if it is true, It seems dumb. What if you tweeted something that was super important, or maybe like had a message you wanted to get out, and oh, 3 months later it's gone? Like, you shouldn't have your tweets auto-deleted. It also seems like you have stuff to hide. It's not like Twitter doesn't have the server storage space for all your tweets. Anyone that goes through and deletes old tweets just looks disingenuous. And I think that might be more what Ray is talking about here. I mean, maybe Ray Fisher is like, oh, he went and deleted this specific tweet. That's not okay. Or maybe he understands the auto-delete system and it's just like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's, like I said, disingenuous. It's obviously not for me to say what Ray is thinking or put words in his mouth. But I also think jumping the gun and saying, oh, Ray doesn't understand, you're putting words and thoughts in his place as well. So maybe he has a response later on in the article. We'll see, that will give us more clarity. Alright, so yeah, here we see the tweet, the way James Gunn uses fake race on Twitter. We see the screenshots, see that it was deleted. I would say it's fake race, by the way, because nothing against James Gunn in this instance. I mean, again, I don't like the dude, but most big famous people on Twitter use fake race. There aren't a whole lot of genuine individuals in Hollywood. That's why they're famous actors. They're narcissists. They want the attention. You could say the same about YouTubers and the fact that I want to succeed on YouTube and whatnot. I like the attention. Twitter is full of fake grace. So yeah, when it comes to fake grace on Twitter, is James Gunn the only one that does it? No. But is it wrong to call him out for it? Also no. Okay, well, it seems like that's the end of that article. But that's okay, because we've got this other one right here. James Gunn addresses outcry over planned changes to the DC Universe. James Gunn is addressing the disrespectful outcry from fans over changes in the DC Universe. Well, I'm going to stop right there. It is not disrespectful to share your opinion just because your opinion differs from someone else. Look, I've been following this for a while now, and most of what I've seen are people being like, I hope it fails. I don't want to see Cavill leave. I was a Gal Gadot fan. I'm not going to support this. Boycott this. Those are opinions people are allowed to have, and it's not disrespectful to share them in the public space. Are there maybe a few people that are like, James Gunn should die? Yeah, they probably exist. I haven't seen them, and I would think I would have by now because I've been going through this mess of tweets, frankly, for the enjoyment of it. I am in the camp that thinks that James Gunn is a horrible decision, and what he's done so far is something that cannot be forgiven, at least not soon. But let's continue. After the Guardians of the Galaxy director became the co-CEO of DC Studios with Peter Safran, it was announced a new Superman movie is in the works and will not star Henry Cavill, and Wonder Woman 3 had been put on hold. Some on social media then began speculating that Wonder Woman star Gal Gadot had been booted from the franchise. DC Studios and CNN are both part of Warner Bros. Discovery. When one user asked Gunn about the shakeup, he replied on Twitter, I'm not sure where you're getting that we booted Gal. Gunn did not offer any further information about what that might mean for Gadot's possible future with DC. So, here's the thing. Gunn is very cryptic on Twitter and seems to use the least amount of information necessary to cover his own butt. When Den of the Nerds came out and was like, I heard you don't like Henry Cavill. And he was like, that's not true. And then Den of the Nerds was like, really? Because I've got it from pretty good sources. And James Gunn was like, yeah, I've heard you got out of your mother's basement. Not true. Or, whatever. And then literally like 2 days later announced Cavill wasn't coming back. I'm not saying Gunn didn't really like or dislike Cavill. I don't know. I'm just saying the timing of it is suspect. And the interaction on Twitter didn't help Gunn. And then, knowing that Ben Affleck isn't coming back, knowing that Cavill isn't coming back, and knowing that Patty Jenkins isn't coming back, leaves fans to understandably assume, yeah, neither is Gal Gadot. I'm not sure where you're getting that we booted Gal. Well, yeah, technically it is an assumption, nothing has come out, but you're also not saying you didn't boot Gal. You're saying you don't know where they got the assumption since nothing's been reported. See, he's not actually saying they didn't boot Gal. He's saying that he doesn't know where they got the info. They probably have booted Gal. But he's telling these little half-truths and being sly and coy on Twitter. That way when someone says, I thought you said you were keeping Gal Gadot, he can point to the tweet, if it hasn't already auto-deleted, and say, no, I said I'm not sure where he got that information. I didn't say we weren't doing it. Because as we know, James Gunn can't help but argue with individuals on Twitter. He pushed back on the uproar over the plans for the DCU. One of the things that Peter and I were aware of when we took the job as heads of DC Studios was a certain minority of people online that could be, well, uproarious and unkind to say the least. The thing is, it's not a minority. If it was a minority I would still be part of, I'd be like, all right, guys, let's kick back, see what happens when it comes out, and just not support it, not pay money to go see it, because it's a product we don't like, and we don't want to further advance products that we also don't like. But it's not a minority. Everyone is upset about this. If there's one thing the DCEU got right, it was that fans loved Henry Cavill as Superman. They may not have liked Man of Steel. They may not have liked Batman v Superman. They may not have liked Justice League. They may have liked all those films, but they all agreed Henry Cavill, as an actor, was perfect for Superman, regardless of the quality of the films. Everyone was uproarious about him being thrown to the wayside. There's a reason that you can find, like, footage on YouTube, grainy in the theater footage of when Cavill came back for the cameo in Black Adam. Theaters are cheering and clapping. Now, this obviously isn't all about Cavill. There's a lot of people that are upset for other reasons. Let's be honest, the majority of it's probably about Cavill. So, if you want to call it a minority, you're flat out lying, or lying to yourself if maybe you know the truth, lying to the media because you don't want them reporting that, oh no, it is the majority of us that are upset and angry. So maybe either get a reality check or stop intentionally being disingenuous, because it is not a minority of people. Gunn wrote in a Twitter thread on Monday, "No one loves to be harassed or called names, but to be frank, we've been through significantly worse. Disrespectful outcry will never ever affect our actions." I agree. No one likes to be called names. But also, what kind of names are you being called? Are you being called a stupid MF, an idiot POS? Or are you being called a bad decision maker who doesn't know how to run DC with the decisions you've made so far? One of those is true. One of them may or may not be true and is excessively more hurtful. I mean, again, I don't care what people call him. I'm not going to go on Twitter and just throw shade. I'd rather use logic and emotions and kind of analyze things to come to decisions on what I think is or isn't best for the products I would like to see and or put money into. But about the whole disrespectful outcry will never affect our actions, that's such a superior, arrogant line of thinking. It makes me think of the Sonic the Hedgehog film. That trailer, the original version with, ugly Sonic, came out, and fans were just distraught, and much like he says, uproarious. And rightfully so. They destroyed our boy. But to do right by fans, after hearing all the outcry, they went back and said, you know what? Let's delay the film, fix this, and give you what you want. Because they know that we're paying customers. If we're not happy with the product, we're not going to buy it. Product doesn't make money. Whereas you, as an auteur, have this superiority problem of, no, this is the way I'm going to make it, and you're going to see it anyway. This is my vision. I get it. Movies are art. Filmmaking is art. But it is also a product. If you're making a product that nobody wants, you also can't get upset when people say they don't want it and then don't support it when it comes out. The only reason you have this job is because of film goers like us and because of fans like us. So when you're going against the whims and wishes of the fans and the paying customer, yeah, of course you're going to have uproar. If I wanted to buy sneakers and I go into a store and all they sell is sandals after they've been selling sneakers for 10 years, I'm going to be upset that they don't sell sneakers anymore. And when they say, buy sandals, you'll be fine. No, I'm going to take my business elsewhere. Oh, well, you just don't know what good shoes are. No, if people want the sandals, that's fine, but that's not the product I want. Now, let's expand that out further. Let's say it's the only shoe store in town, and 300 citizens in a 500-person town decided, yeah, no, we want you to start selling sneakers again. The business is going to sit there and realize, over half the town's not going to be coming here because they don't want to buy sandals. Maybe we should start selling sneakers again to keep making money, otherwise we're going to go out of business. Now, obviously, DC, Warner Bros., they're not going to go out of business, but the principle, the concept is the same. If you're not giving the people what they want to pay for and giving them a completely different product instead, why should they pay for it? Because of your own arrogance and saying you just don't know what we're giving you? That's not how business works, my friend. Gunn said choices for the DC universe will be based upon what we believe is best for the story. Right. What you believe is best for the story. And in a way, I get that. As directors, as producers, as CEOs, you have an idea of what is best for the company, not for the story. You're actually looking at what is going to make the most money and be the most profitable and basically try and 12 years later copy what Marvel got right the first time, that no cinematic universe has been able to replicate. I guess Godzilla got kind of close, but that's really about it. DC failed. Dark Universe never even got off the ground. I'm sure there's other examples of cinematic universes that I'm forgetting, but frankly, I'm forgetting them because they didn't do it right. So, you don't want what's best for the story, or even if you do want what's best for the story, if you're not also abiding by the will of the fans and the paying customers, you're not going to get a return on what you think is a good story. Perhaps these choices are great, perhaps not, but they are made with sincere hearts and integrity, and always with the story in mind, he tweeted. Yeah, no, I don't buy that. That actually goes kind of back to Ray Fisher's comments of Fate Grace. I just don't buy this. It seems like him saying, come on, give us a chance. We'll give you what you love, even if you don't know you want it. And, yeah, maybe a chance should be given. But also, it comes off kind of egotistical. Like they know more than us, the fans, who have been buying these comic books and reading these stories for generations. So, no. All in all, that's really all these news articles have to say. It's all I want to go over. I'm still very much on the anti-James Gunn bandwagon. I also was pro-Snyder. But the thing is, one doesn't affect the other. I liked Guardians of the Galaxy, and I liked the director's cut of Batman v Superman. It's not like I'm just going to say, oh, you can only have one or the other. Both directors sometimes have merits, both have flaws. But the direction that this is going is a direction that I, as a consumer, and many others as consumers, don't want to pay and don't want to see it go. So we're just not going to. That doesn't make us disrespectful. I really hope James Gunn can put his ego aside and actually give fans something they want. But until then, please like, comment, subscribe. The subscription would mean a lot, as I am really trying to grow this channel. As far as comments go, I really do read them and respond to them, so let me know your thoughts. Also, follow me on Twitter at BoltTheWord, and this has been Words of Paradise.